talking about not making a major splash, but making a free agent signing that I think could go sneaky under the radar, pretty impactful for the Browns in 2024. And this is very similar to how I felt in my gut and my tummy tums whenever I was looking at Maurice Hurst in 2023 when the Browns signed him. I remember coming on here, doing an episode talking about Maurice Hurst, looking at his history and saying, guys, this could be a sneaky good ad for the Browns. Not a guy that you're going to roll out there in a starting position to make a major impact in every game, but a disruptor, a guy who's going to just complement the rest of the defensive line pieces so well that he's going to end up being a fan favorite. And that's how I felt about Maurice Hurst. And that is also how I feel right now about Quinton Jefferson, the new defensive tackle the Browns just signed to a 1-year deal. And the cool thing off the top here about Quinton Jefferson is he is not pigeonholed, relegated strictly to the defensive tackle position. The dude can also play out on the edge. So Andrew Berry just brought in a backup defensive tackle, a rotational defensive tackle, who can also play on the edge. So now the Browns have even more flexibility when it comes to other free agent signings and especially the NFL draft, because Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire, and now you've got Quinton Jefferson, who, if you need to, you can line him up on the edge for a few plays here and there as well. He's played outside linebacker. He's played edge rusher. He has played defensive tackle throughout his career. So this is a guy with a lot of versatility, and that's exactly what Andrew Berry looks for, exactly what Jim Schwartz can utilize on this defensive front. So Quinton Jefferson. He's 30 years old. Actually, his birthday is March 31st, so right around the corner. So happy early birthday, Quinton Jefferson. What a great birthday present. You get signed by the Browns to come play on one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. So congratulations, and we are honestly happy to have you. You, as if you were watching the show. Quinton Jefferson, guys, was drafted 5th round, 147th pick overall in the 2016 draft, and by the Seattle Seahawks. He has played for the Rams. He went back, played for the Seahawks again, played for the Bills, the Raiders, and then the Seahawks for a third time. And then he just most recently played for the New York Jets. So our favorite Browns detractor, hater in the media, Tony Grossi, put a post on Twitter, and all he said about this signing, and this is why I have come to develop a good level of loathing for Tony Grossi, because he's such a negative bitch on social media. I just can't stand it. This is the Browns, dude. You're covering the Browns. You don't have to be a negative a-hole all the freaking time, especially now that this regime and this coaching staff has proven they know what the F they're doing, man. Okay, I'm sorry. I get a little bit in my feels whenever I start talking about Grossi and how guy just drives me insane right now. But anyway, his post on Twitter when the Browns signed Quinton Jefferson was just, this will be his 5th team in 5 years. Screw you, Tony Grossi. Not every single NFL player gets locked into a long-term contract and plays 7 seasons with the same team. Most of the guys in the NFL go from team to team to team. I feel like some of these Browns media people are just high-level stupid. How many players in the NFL, first of all, how many athletes in general make it to the NFL? Not very many. And how many of those athletes are good enough to be starters? Not very many. How many of those players are good enough to be long-term players on the same team? Not very many. These guys get moved around quite a bit. And here we see it again. The Browns signed him in to Maurice Hurst was the same kind of situation, but he found a temporary home in Cleveland, played on the 1-year deal last year, showed enough that the Browns were like, look, we know what you can add to this defensive line. We want you back. Now he's got his 2nd year with the Browns. Here we go. Quinton Jefferson, over the last 5 seasons, like I said, Seattle, Buffalo, Las Vegas, Seattle again, and then the Jets. Going back those 5 years, 3.5 sacks, 3 sacks. And then the last 3 years, 4.5, 5.5, 6. Last season was his career high in sacks. He had 6 total sacks, played in 14 games, 34 tackles, and 4 tackles for loss. He forced a fumble, recovered the fumble. This dude is I feel like he's going to be a high motor guy. I feel like he gets after the quarterback. And I'm very excited to have him on a rotational play basis with Maurice Hurst, because Maurice Hurst is the same type of dude. Maurice Hurst gets after the quarterback. He's faster. He's quicker than a lot of these other defensive tackles who are more of your run-stopping guys, kind of like Dalvin Tomlinson. And having Dalvin Tomlinson in the middle of that defensive line, and then beside him, you are rotating through Hurst, Jefferson, and Ika, and Shelby Harris, and all these other guys. Man, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I am actually pretty excited to have Quinton Jefferson on the team. I think this is a very good signing by Andrew Berry, and I think come the season, this could be one of those under-the-radar signings where we're watching him on the field in his however many snaps he plays for the Browns on this defensive line each game. And when he comes in, I think he's going to make his presence felt, and we're going to know, hey, that was Quinton Jefferson on that play. We like this guy. I think that's going to be the story for 2024. And I have seen on social media going around real quick, last thing about Jefferson, he was not the Jets player who was flipping off Browns fans. If you guys remember that game, that was not Quinton Jefferson. That was Michael Clemens. So just want to clear that up. We did not sign the guy who was flipping off Browns fans and saying F you to the crowd during that Thursday night beatdown in Cleveland in 2023.